I'm a Sagittarius. It just the episode was so good. That was the How I Met Your Mother like heyday. It was very
Mm-hmm.
funny. So we will talk about Sagittarius stuff. We're gonna celebrate Kelly's birthday for sure. I do have one like actually two emotional and like somber little moments here. The first one isn't that bad. I just want to know. I want to know what you think. Kelly, you could start this off. How do you maintain good spirits during the holiday season? Now, by asking this question, how do you maintain good spirits during this emotional time? You know, highs and lows. I don't necessarily want to be pessimistic and indicate that like it's so negative,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like sometimes the pressure to be so jolly for like this amount of months is sort of weighing on people because we're in a very real time. The darn 24-hour news cycle should have only been for people like you and me, meaning you were a publicist, I worked in radio. So in that regard, we should have been getting 24-hour news, and even then it's not healthy for you to consume that
Oh,
much.
no.
But the way everybody is like, absorbing that on like Facebook or whatever, I just really feel there's a little bit of a conflict between the happiness that we're supposed to show in the Giving Tuesday and the donations here, warmth and buy gifts, and then how people are really going through a difficult time. Do you care to give what you think about this topic?
Well, I mean, I think just for me being away from my family for all the years I lived in LA, I couldn't be home for every holiday. And I have such a close knit family that that was always hard. And luckily, I was able to meet a lot of great people that we formed these friendship families. All of their families were out of state also, so on the holidays they couldn't go home, we all got together, and I love the idea of the friendsgiving and that sort of thing that happened. I mean, we had a friendsgiving every Thanksgiving because I would opt to stay home in LA for Thanksgiving and go to Texas for Christmas, and that's how I would kind of split up my time. But it is hard, especially when you're single and you don't have someone and everybody's, cuddled up in the winter and you want someone to kind of like lay around with in the cold and, watch movies and get into the holiday spirit, or you're working all the time and you don't really have a social life, or, there's that's it's just a time of year when depression just really sets in. And I think it's important to check on your friends, all of your friends, and especially your strong friends, because they're the ones that always act like nothing's wrong, and when they finally stop and sit and give themselves a minute, it kind of all comes flooding in, and people usually forget to be like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" because they're usually the ones that are checking on you.
Um, I like that a lot, and I feel like I've been a little bit better with that, and not the lame way either. Not saying it's really lame, but like the Instagram little nudge or
Mhm.
whatever doesn't really do anything. Like to actually check on people. And the second thing is, yeah, it becomes the optimistic Olympics. And so on one hand, I didn't even want to bring up this topic because I didn't want to allude that people aren't in good spirits, but I also felt that there's too many people, and I'm not saying this as a diss in any way, but they're making the holiday season like they're forcing themselves to be on the up and up about everything. And I just wish people had a little bit of leverage to like say, yeah, it's kind of hard, be it missing family, be it economics, be it the news cycle is so
Mhm.
challenging or difficult, as we say, that I just I feel like if I come up with this topic, it's like, oh, Ronnie, you're being pessimistic or you're being negative.
Well, I don't, and I don't think so. I think it's just taking a beat and looking around, because in this world that we have of this instant gratification and the social media, when everybody's a cameraman, everybody's a journalist, everybody's, making movies and videos on their phones, they're giving these false senses of what life should be, because everything you see on camera, everything that's posted on Facebook is usually bullshit. It's just a version of their life that they want you to see. I
Mm.
mean, I'm not showing hardly anything on my social media. It's all things that I want people to see. It's not like the nitty gritty. I mean, you get the real deal when we're sitting here talking, which is interesting to me, but I just find it comfortable to sit and like
I
have
actually
these
say that to people.
conversations.
I actually say that to people, like, Instagram, you ain't gonna get nothing. But when
No,
me and Kelly give it up, it's on that damn show.
really,
I
it
had a
really
hard time
is.
after like the last two episodes we did because I realized we went so like we force each other to go deep, I guess.
Yeah, and it's really showing true sides of each other, and that's what I love so much about having these conversations with you. And I think once you get away from that and give yourself a little bit of a break, I mean, I was on social media so much more when I was working as a publicist because I needed to be, and I just was so very unhappy just with everything. And it didn't have anything to do with social media specifically, but just overall because I wasn't taking enough time for myself, because I
Mm,
was always like, I have to do this and I have to do that. And I was always for other people and not for myself. And I suffered because of that. Finding that good balance is so important and so difficult. I'm still struggling with it.
yeah. Well, that is the question of the day. How do you maintain good spirits during the holiday season? Because, again, and if you happen to be one of these people that is so jolly and everything happens to be going great and you're very much in a appreciative mood, that's wonderful. But I'm saying that it is not unappreciative to acknowledge that it's tough. It's 3 months of just holiday parties and expectations and
Hmm.
even the logistics of it, rushing to go to the store to make sure your wardrobe looks good for this event, that event, stuff for work, stuff for friends you haven't seen in a while, family you want to see, family you don't want to see. It's
Right.
a lot, and I felt like we didn't want to concentrate on which holiday specifically. I just wanted to kind of feel how people are feeling with these
Hmm.
three to 4 months, because these 3 to 4 months, yeah.
Yeah. No, and I'm very interested too to see, like, I can't imagine growing up being a teenager in this day and age with social media. I
Hmm.
can't. It's heartbreaking so much when I see these stories. And recently there was a kid that was really depressed in this neighborhood or this town that we're in, and committed suicide. And there's so many of that, and so much of that at such a young age. And it has a lot to do with all of these fake versions of life that people are seeing all the time. And I think that if there's a good mix of showing that it's not always rainbows and sunshine all the time, because life just isn't, and being able to talk about the real things and the struggles and all of that, I'm seeing more and more people doing that, which I really appreciate, because I think it's important, especially for the young people that are looking at YouTube and looking at TikTok and all that, and all they're seeing is like, oh, everybody's life is so fabulous, and they don't realize that these people are standing in front of a house they don't own, or they're in a backyard of a house they don't live in, or like, so, you know what I mean, most of it is not real. And for the ones that are, that's fantastic, and all that, whatever, but most of it isn't.
Yeah.
And it's just portraying this ideal of a life, and a lot of kids don't get that.
And I think the key, we should wrap up, and we could always explore this topic a little bit later. That's the beauty of our show.
Mhm.
Um, I think the key also is not feeling compelled to justify or put everything, like there's things you could go through, um and you could go through them, like actually go through them with your friends, with your family, even if it was on the positive side or the optimistic side. Like, you don't need to necessarily put all that either. You can keep some
True.
stuff for yourself. I was
Mhm.
watching Gossip Girl. It's back on HBO Max, and I just really was not shocked, because nothing is a shock anymore, but how like they really do require each other within their friendships to comment on this
Everything.
feeling. Like, it's
Everything.
just, and like, oh, so and so hasn't commented, so what does that mean? And I just wish that it didn't mean so much. Find
Mhm.
my only advice, and it's not advice, but my only thing is, like, hit hard, be live this life, and be in the moment and showcase it, put it on Instagram, but feel free to take some time to yourself. Like, you can have some things to yourself, and
Mhm.
um that doesn't go for everyone, because a lot of people make money off social media. But I just I encourage a break. Why, if anyone says this, which I hope, and they will, but if anyone were to say, damn, I really like what Kellie and Ronnie are doing with Difficult Podcasters, you will know, well, it's not always an easy journey between us to do the show. It's a hard scheduling, et cetera, et cetera. But the one thing that we always stick to is, if it's not working time wise, we will just push the episode back, because we, at our age, have done this for so long that we want to just give you a good show, which is really funny, because we had a little gap between episode to episode, but you would never know it because once we get back on, it's like magic, you know? Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying,
I do. And I think too, I think it's important too not to get so wrapped up in needing validation from other
mm,
people. Because as much as I would love and I hope that things that we say resonate with people and all of that, more so, this is a great outlet for me. For
mm,
me to sit and talk about things and have conversations with you, and hopefully, for anyone that listens, they're able to relate to something and think about things in a different way, or maybe just give someone a different perspective, because it's not
yeah.
about making anybody believe what I believe. Of course not. It's just seeing the world from a different lens every now and then. Let's look at things in a circle versus just this way or that way. Maybe we just take a different angle.
And be the most authentic to yourself, because
Yeah.
I find that the shows that I like, the podcasts or the radio shows that I like,
Hmm.
it's really just people that have let that mask let it go.
Yeah.
And they show not the goods and the bad, they show the bads, and we do that very
Oh,
well.
yes, we do. We
You
definitely do.
I mean, I've had
Hmm.
episodes where I'm sweating, like just sweaty under the armpits, like, who are you, nasty boy? Like, what is going on, I don't, Kelly's pretty much perfect at all
Oh,
episodes, but
never,
we've
never.
struggled,
The
Kelly,
struggle is very real. We
I
have a
almost
difficult life over here.
um Kelly, I almost didn't want to end that last topic because I knew what was coming next, and I don't
Yeah.
know how to break it down, but I even here comes me flubbing.
Mhm.
Get the words out, Ronnie. What I wanted to do right now, and I didn't even know I had to ask Kelly, or not ask, but communicate with you. Like, where does this fit?